Hello, you lovely lot. It's me, it's Marcotte. It's here, I'm here. Welcome, one and all, to my little show that I like to call Spill It. Spill It is a show where I get to speak to inspirational people and share inspirational stories to connect people together, inspire others, and help people learn something new. And this episode is no different because this is episode 53. I don't know why I said it like that. This is episode 53, running to confront problems, and my special guest of the evening, Dawn Marcotte, is going to be joining us at 7:10 p.m. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. I can't wait. It's going to be a really good episode. I spoke to Dawn back in April when I was sorting out my guests ready for 2021. And just the energy from Dawn was like phenomenal. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Like, I'd had a bad day of interviewing some potential guests who was just like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I was just like, oh, yeah, okay. And then when Dawn came out, I was just like, this is amazing. I now have energy, which is great. It was all fab. It was all fab. It was all lovely. It was all brilliant. And what kind of put the nail in the coffin for me, I was just like, you know what? This now needs to happen, is the fact that we share a birthday. We shared a birthday, like, so it was completely random. And we were chatting away, and then she'd said, and then, oh, we'll book in at this date because that's just after my birthday. My birthday is the 4th of July. And I was like, oh, no, that's also my birthday. And yeah, so we booked, and that's it. And the rest is history. She's booked, she's ready, she's in the green room waiting to come out patiently. But until then, you get me. So thank you for staying with me. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. All you have to do is like, share, and comment this as you are watching it. If you like it, it means that other people get to see it. If you share it, it means that, as I said, other people in your friends and your family and your little community and all of that lot also get to see it. And they come into the Spill It community, and they become teacups themselves. And also, if you comment, it means that I get to do lovely things like this, where Linda has commented saying, morning, Linda, I hope you're okay. Thank you so much for commenting. And that's why it is important to comment, because we get to discuss your comments live on air. Awesome sauce. I've never said that before ever in my life. I don't know why I said it now, but there you go. If you haven't checked out our other episodes yet, make sure you do. You can head over to the Spill It website at www.spillit.uk, and you will be able to see all of the episodes in action, live. Not live. You'll be able to see the future ones live, obviously, because they're in the future. But if you want to see the past episodes, then they won't be live. But you'll be able to see what we do here at Spill It. You'll be able to see all of the other guests from back in season 1. Obviously, the first episode, all the way up to now, because we're on episode 53. And also, if you wanted to just listen to them because you like the sound of my voice and my guest's voice, and you want to be driving in your car and listening to me, then you can do. All you have to do is head over to the Spill It website, and you can listen to it via podcast. So if you like Spotify or Google or Apple or wherever you want to listen to your podcast, then you can do. You just go onto the website and you can get the links. Simple. It's all simple. So keep those comments and questions rolling in. Awesome sauce, Linda. Awesome sauce. And as I say, make sure that you hit that share button. It's super important. It just means that more people get to see this, and they might think, oh, do you know what? I've never heard of Spill It, or I've never actually seen this before, or they're actually doing an episode that I actually quite like. And that's the joy of Spill It. Like, there's plenty of podcasts or shows or whatever out there, and they will have like a set, like, kind of niche where they go, we're only going to talk about this subject. And that is great, because obviously you then channel everything towards that particular audience. But what I kind of wanted to do is reach out into different communities and reach out to around the world, essentially, to what people might. One person might tune into one episode and think, you know what, I absolutely love that. And then they might tune into the next episode and go, that wasn't for me, but at least I've learned something. And that's what it's all about. It's about connecting people together, inspiring, and helping people learn something new. What you might what you might actually like. Let me start that again. What you might like, one person might not like. And then what you don't like, that person might like. But at the end of the day, we're all learning. I can't speak today, guys. I'm really sorry. Anyway, let's move on to announcements. Announcements time. It's coming home. Football. Yes, football. Go football. I'm not really a massive football fan. However, it's coming home. I'm going to say that because England are in the semi-finals and they are facing off against Denmark this evening at 8 p.m. So you've got me and Dawn up until 8 p.m. and then you can watch the football straight after. That is epic, right? That is epic. What more would you want in your life? You wouldn't want anything else, right? But football it may be coming home. It may not be coming home. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. We all want football to come home though, right? Okay. So England are facing off against Denmark this evening. So make sure that you are tuning in for that and support the team, because they're doing well. Go football. But yeah, you got me and Dawn up until 8 o'clock, and then you can watch the football straight after. There you go. Your next bit of news as well. On Saturday, my radio show officially launched. Oh my days. It officially launched. A little bit of Marcus officially launched. Oh, it was so good. Thank you, everybody, as well, for tuning into the radio show on Beat 103. So for those who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, I don't know. But the radio show, Beat 103, which is an FM radio, for those who don't know, Beat 103, invited me to be a presenter. And now I'm an official presenter of Beat 103. My slot is on Saturdays at 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. So I get an hour slot. We are going to look at extending that at some point as well. So you'll have more of me. But to start off with, I get an hour to kind of showcase what I do. And that officially launched on Saturday, which was absolutely amazing. I had the best time. It was so cool. And I'm back this week. I got my feedback today from the show and how it was, etc. Yvonne's in the comments going boo and then boo. Is it because I'm talking about football, Yvonne? You're not a football person, Yvonne. Is that what we're talking about? Are you booing because I'm talking about football? And then Linda was going to say, so good. It was really good. I had some amazing music. I am actually going to be launching a brand new Instagram and a brand new Facebook page specifically for a little bit about Marcus, which is the name of the radio show. And we're going to be doing that. So when people are watching the radio show, they can get in touch, they can give requests, they can do this, they can do the other, whatever. Oh, she's doing it as a scary boo. Right, okay. It was proper good, Marcus. It was proper good, Marcus. No pool boo making you jump. Okay, hang on. Let's try that. Okay. So she said boo in a way to make me jump. Ready? Ah! You made me jump. You made me jump, Yvonne. Anyway. So yeah, if you are wanting to watch, no, you can't watch it. If you wanted to listen to my brand new radio show, it's at Beat 103 every Saturday at 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. It's called A Little Bit About Marcus, but you will hear more of that after today's show because it is 7:10. And we all know at 7:10, that's when my guest comes out and they talk their story. They tell their truths. They spill it. And I cannot wait because Dawn is ready to come out. She's waiting patiently. She's waiting patiently behind the curtain. Please, can you drop your favorite emoji? Please, can we give a massive warm welcome, a round of applause to the lady of the hour. She's here. She's going to tell us all. I can't wait. She's an amazing person. You're going to love this energy. Honestly, you're going to love it. Here she is. Here she is. It is Dawn Marcotte. Hello.
Hello. Wow. Now I have to live up to that introduction.
You do indeed.
All right. I will do my best.
Yes, you have to have all the energy now because I said that like your energy is brilliant. So.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
It was, to be fair though, like when we had the chat, we just clicked straight away. And as I said, like at the start of the episode, I had a very bad day that day, with interviewing people. There was nobody that was just really like when you speak to somebody, you just kind of vibe with them, and you just know that that's the person that I really want, because you've got to have chemistry to be able to do something like this, to be able to talk, to have a conversation. And I'd gone through 4 or 5 different people, and I was just like, I'm not feeling that chemistry. And then you came out and you were just like, boom, this is me. This is what we do. This is what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh my God. I loved it.
I do get very enthusiastic about things. Yes.
Yes. It was good. It was good because that's me. And I was just like, yes, this is the energy that I need right here at Spill It. Linda has come into the comments saying happy birthday for last Sunday.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Birthday twin over here. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. This is awesome.
Good. Well. Before we get into it, are you ready to play a little game?
Okay.
Don't worry.
Sure. Let's go.
Good. Because it's time to play the 5-second rule.
Okay.
That's right. It is the 5-second rule. This is a game that I play with all of my guests. It's a game. It's nice. It's a nice, easy icebreaker game. It's just a little bit of fun. All we do is that I ask you to name 3 somethings, and you have got 5 seconds to name those 3 somethings. It's as simple as that. Now, like a bit of a disclaimer for you. This isn't a family-friendly show. So if you do say something that you perhaps feel like you shouldn't have said, it's completely fine. Okay. And the reason that I say that is because Linda will obviously say very shortly in the comments, there she goes straight away, game. So Linda loves the dirty questions.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm not going to ask you any dirty questions. It's just
thank you.
It's you just got to say the first thing that comes to the top of your head. And obviously, sometimes when I ask these questions, sometimes they lead you into thinking, right, I've got to say that. So yeah. So don't basically, just don't have a filter. Just don't think about it. Just say no filter. Just say what you want. Okay, cool. We're gonna start off easy. All right. Name 3 objects that create a lot of noise.
Do my children count? Because I got 2. They're very noisy people. So noise, stereo, and the air raid sirens. Go off on Wednesdays.
Really? They go on Wednesdays?
You just missed them. I'm so glad we didn't start right away, because the air sirens are going off outside my window, and all I could think was, I hope they're done before he pulls me on, because they don't need to hear them. But they test them once a month, and this happens to be the day and the time. So
how far away do you live from them?
There's one in my backyard.
Oh, my life.
It's really loud. Yeah, it's really loud. They test them. I'm in the United States, and they use them for severe weather warning. So like if there's a tornado or storm blowing out, they set the air raid sirens off. We're all supposed to run to the basement.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. Definitely a loud noise there anyway. So
very loud. Yes.
Question number 2. Name 3 animals that live in cold places.
Polar bears, penguins, and snow leopards.
I'll give you that one. That was just in time.
Okay. A lot of pressure.
I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to ask you 2 more. Normally I ask 3 questions, but I'm going to ask you 2 because there's 2 that I really want to know. Okay. So name 3 things you do when no one is looking.
I brush my teeth. I don't know. I'm usually alone in the bathroom. Not always. I got nothing. There's always some. If it's not a child, it's a cat. I never know.
If it's not a child, it's a cat.
I mean, fellow parents can attest to this. I haven't been to the bathroom by myself in like 20 years because I have children and I have pets.
I love it. Okay, your final one.
Okay.
Name 3 famous bold people.
Bold people. Michelle Obama. I don't know. I don't think I like this question.
Michelle Obama. Well done.
Thank you. I don't think well on my feet. Did I point that out?
Oh, that set me off. Okay. That is amazing. Thank you so much for those answers.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I have to share with you, though, just real quick, the 5-second rule. I'm in the United States. I don't know if it's the same where you are, but the 5-second rule determines whether or not you can pick food up off the floor to eat it after it's fallen on the floor.
For us, it's a 3-second rule. We have 3-second rule.
So we're a little slower here in the States, so we get 5.
5 seconds is too much. 5 seconds is too much. That bacteria is well all over that. They surround the food. The bacteria surrounds the food, and they wait for 3 seconds
before they attack.
And then they charge.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds over here. So if it's 5 seconds for you, then right. Just means that the food lasts a little bit longer. A few more preservatives over here. Maybe that's it. Yvonne has said, no, it's 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, all right.
Drop it 30 seconds after, it's still fine. Don't worry about it. I was saving it for later. Right, okay. Let's get into it because I'm really looking forward to discussing everything and anything with you. But the question I've got for you is, who is Dawn Marcotte?
Okay. So I've already given you a few hints here and there. I live in the United States. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is kind of in the middle and towards the north. So very cold winters. I am a mom. As I mentioned, I have 2 beautiful children who are young adult and teenager. So 2 girls. I can, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's all I have to say. We can see it. It's going to be awesome. And we hope someday they'll speak to us again in full sentences. That I am also a runner. I am a reader of all things mystery, sci-fi. I also read a lot of fantasy books. I'm a huge, huge reader. And I am a freelance writer, which I have done for over 10 years. It started as a side gig for just to make some extra money. And then unfortunately in 2020 with COVID, as with many other people, I lost my corporate job. So I thought, hey, let's take it full time and see what we can do. So I did actually write a book, which is just published in June. Yay! Oh, nice. Very exciting. Very exciting. Yes, I am really. It was phenomenal. It was a wonderful experience writing the book because I interviewed a bunch of entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs. So it's not just what's in my head. It got a lot of input, and I really enjoyed it. I had never done that part before. Everything I'd ever written before just kind of spilled out of my head onto the page, and I ran with it. So having all of these people give me all of their wisdom and learnings and things, it was so much fun. And that's a big part of who I am, is a continuous learner. I always like to discover new things, learn a new software, I don't know, whatever. I just really enjoy finding new things, finding out new information. In fact, my dad says that if you don't learn something new every day, that day that you don't learn something new, that's the day you die. Like, okay, let's not do that.
Let's not die. Let's keep learning.
Let's just keep learning. So that's just a big part of who I am.
Let's not die. Let's keep learning. Coming on T-shirts in the future.
Yeah, I could do that. We could have a great shirt. Yeah.
We'll make great T-shirts.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. And obviously you just said that you've just had your book published as
Yep,
well,
yep.
which is absolutely phenomenal. So well done for that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is it weird seeing like your book out there?
It is a little bit weird, I'll be honest, because this was not my first book. I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 16 books that I've written over the years. Yeah, but they're all self-published. You know, I do the covers, I do the editing, I do everything. And I just have an idea about something. They're all kind of how-to books. My first one was things to do with kids to keep them so their face isn't in a screen, because I was very passionate about that when my kids were little. And it was great, and it did fairly well, woohoo. But this book was different because I got it professionally edited. I have a professional cover. You know, I really went that extra mile, and it's available in a paperback version in addition to just the Kindle version. So I actually have a copy, and I look at that, and I keep it on my shelf, and I'm like, I did that. Why did I do that? Why did I put my name on it? What if people don't like it? What, you know, and then that whole rabbit hole you go down. But yeah, it is a little bit weird to see my name out there, because I am such a huge reader, and there are certain authors that I will read anything they put out there because I'm such a big fan. And there's that little voice in the back of my head that goes, oh, that could be me. Someday I might have a fan. It would be awesome.
Well, I'm sure that we're going to have a conversation about it. So I'm in the process of writing a book at the moment. So it's my very, very, very first book that I would have written. It is very exciting. And we're going to have to talk about the whole process and all of that when you're self-publishing. Because I'm self-publishing. So that's the route that I'm going down. So we'll talk more about that later on. Definitely, because there's many. It's basically, my book's going to be a self-help book. It's going to be about looking at things in a more positive way and how to put a positive spin on certain things and life and all that. To be fair, links quite well with this episode. It's how to think positively and do things more constructively and all that which we're going to get into. So I want to know, who was Dawn?
Wow. Well, it's been an interesting journey. Like I said, my kids are a little older, so I was a different person when they were little, and that's where your focus is. You got to take care of the kids. And I have always wanted to be a mom. So it was just kind of a fulfillment of a dream, which is great. But parenting is hard. There's a lot of stress there. People don't talk about that part a whole lot. You're just supposed to love your kids, and it's going to be wonderful. And those, Hallmark moments or whatever, those beautiful greeting card moments that you're supposed to have. They don't talk about the time that the child picked up the red, blue, and green crayons and colored all over the bathroom with it. I have pictures.
Oh dear.
She's just standing there looking like, look what I did, Mom. And I'm like, it's fine. But another big part of my life has been running. I run marathons. So I didn't start doing that though until after my oldest child was born. I have had some ups and downs in my health, and lots of downs, probably more than ups. And my brother got tired of listening to me crab about, I'm out of shape, and I'm fat, and I'm blah, 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 right? So he challenged me to run the local Twin Cities Marathon. And this is 14, 15 years ago, something like that. We had a year to train for it, which is good because I needed the whole year. I couldn't even run from my driveway to the stop sign, 30 yards away. It was bad. It was really bad. But it was a lot of fun to train with him. So I did that. I ran the Twin Cities Marathon, which is 26.2 miles for those of you who are not familiar with how long a marathon is. And it was fantastic. And when I was done, I was like, yeah, I want to do this again. And I did.
I don't even think I'd be able to get to that point. The thing is, I started running. Running for me was, so I was thrown in at the deep end. I was, so we have something in the UK called Park Run, which is essentially a run around the park. It's it's a free event, but it's timed as well. So you can get your own time, you can get your PBs and things like that. Right. But it's 5 kilometers. Anyway, I had not done any running for years. Years. And then a friend of mine said, what are you doing on Saturday? And I was like, I'm not doing anything. Why? And he said, come running with me. I was like, running? And then, he put me on this park run at 5 kilometers. And I ran it. I did well. I had to stop a few times and walk, but I still did it, and I completed it. And then I got the bug, and it is like a bug, isn't it? You just start running and just keep doing it.
Yeah. It's so addicting. I never thought, because as I'm running, I'm like, why did I do this? I can't believe I got top 10. I paid someone to allow me to do this. What was I thinking, right? But at the end, that sense of accomplishment, when you've done something that is so difficult, not a lot of people run marathons. It's become more popular in the last number of years, but still percentage-wise of the larger population, not a lot of people run marathons. And to say that I completed it, I not only started it, I finished it, because there's a certain percentage that never finish. They start, they get halfway through, whatever. Injuries happen, things happen. But there was just such a sense of accomplishment to do this really, really hard thing. And it's not like I was even close to the front. I was glad to not be dead last. I had, 5 or 10 people behind me when I finished. But I beat the time that you have to, because there's a time limit to running these things. You can't be out there for 12 hours or whatever. You have to get it done in 6 hours, most races. And I beat that. I was super excited. So then I was addicted and I wanted to keep going. But I shouldn't say sadly. So I started training for my next marathon and I just could not do it. I just couldn't get past 14 miles. Turns out I was pregnant. So yeah, right. With my second child. So I'm like,
wow.
Okay, maybe we won't be doing that marathon after all. So I stopped for a while because then my children were little. They require a lot of time and they wouldn't sit in strollers for more than a half hour at a time. And you can't train for a marathon if you can only run for a half an hour at a time. Speedy Gonzalez doesn't even run that fast. It's not going to work. So I gave it up until my kids got a little bit older. And then I picked it up again about 5 or 6 years, probably about 5 years ago. I picked it up again because, again, teenagers don't want anything to do with mom and dad anyway. I've suddenly got plenty of time where I could go for my long runs. And I really enjoy it. I didn't think I would as much now that I'm a little older. But I do. I still really enjoy getting outside and running in the outdoors.
Good. And what has running done for you? Obviously not just physically, but mentally as well. How has running really helped?
Well, because I run marathons, I think it's a little different than when you are just a runner who goes out and does 3 or 4 miles or whatever you do just because you want to stay in shape. Because there's more to it. There's not just the running part. There's, like I talked about, continuous learning. So I'm always staying up on what's the new technology for shoes, what's the new nutrition recommendation, things like that. So I'm always learning about ways to do it better. Now, I don't run fast. I will never run fast. I know that. That's okay. I don't need to win. I just need to finish. So that's the other thing that I've really learned is that even though the experts say do this or do this or do that, just because they're experts doesn't mean you have to listen to them. You can listen, but you don't have to do that. And that's what I learned because I used to run for years when I was running. I would just keep going. No walking, just keep going. And I did okay for the first half, but by the second half, I was just all worn out. I couldn't do it. And so it was harder on my body. And then I ran a marathon and I did something you're never supposed to do is I changed the way I did things at the race. The pacer, the woman that was supposed to keep pace or, this is where you run if you want to run a 12-minute mile, whatever. She did a thing where she ran for 10 minutes and walked for a minute. And I thought, I'll try that. I got to stick with her anyway because she's my pacer, so I know how fast I'm going. And it was like a miracle. I was good until about mile 20, which was unheard of for me. And so I realized I don't have to do things the way the experts are saying it should be done just because they're the experts. If it doesn't work for me, don't do it. And that was so eye-opening for me because in all areas of my life, there are people telling me you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And it doesn't always work for me. And just the idea that I don't care what letters you have after your name, Mr. PhD or whatever, it doesn't mean you know what's right for me. So that was a wonderful epiphany. And then the other thing that has really helped me out a lot is the ability to break a big goal, the 26.2 miles, down into smaller steps. You don't just get off the couch and do that. You train for a long time. I usually train for 6 months or so. And I do, well, okay, when it's not COVID, I do 4 to 5 marathons a year. I don't do just one at a time. So, I have to figure out this week I need to run 12 miles for my long run because by 8 weeks from now, I need to have the full, whatever it is, right? I break it down into smaller steps that I can manage. And I can kind of bake in, I won't say failures, but you're not always going to feel like doing what you need to do. And that's okay. You can take a step back and rest a little bit. I can bake in some extra weeks because I know the weather's going to be bad and I'm not going to want to run in the rain, or, I'm going to get sick, or the kids are something's going to change and I'm just going to need to take a step back. Not completely give up, but just kind of bake in that time to go, okay, let's rest, let's ride it out for a week, and then we'll get back into it and hit it hard. And that has been so life-changing in work as well as at home, because I have done a lot of project stuff in work. And it's nice to have a plan, to be able to figure out what are the steps that I need to do to build towards whatever the end goal is.
I love that. I really liked when you talked about these people who are experts in their field and things like that, and them telling you how to do something, and you actually going, well, actually, I don't need to do it that way. I can do it in my way, and I can still achieve the same goals. I'm just doing it in my way. I really, really liked that. I'm just wondering, obviously, because there'll be people listening or watching at home who will no doubt say, I am not running, and you will never catch me running, and I will never get off this sofa. This sofa is my home now. This is my second home now. I live on this sofa. But also medical reasons. One of the reasons that I stopped running was because I've developed an arthritic knee. So running for me now, it's a no-go or long distancing anyway. I can't run long distances. So I'm just wondering if there's something that you've learned from running and all of these little life lessons and all of that lot that people will be able to put in their lives. Is there something that they have got, what can they learn from their everyday things, their passions, their hobbies about their life, like you have just done with your running?
Well, I really think it's important to realize that the limits that you have in life frequently are ones you have put on yourself. Oh, I can't go climb that mountain. I'm a big hiker too, so I'm an outdoorsy person. Or, whatever that big thing is that you don't think you are capable of, or that you see somebody else doing and think, oh, I would never be able to do that, is not true. If you really, truly want to be on a podcast for, with Marcus, there are ways that you can do that. You can figure out the path. And it's just where your priorities are and where you're willing to spend the time. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's fast. But if there is something you really want to do, if you take the time to figure out what are the steps leading up to that, and then break them down into, okay, well, this month I'm going to start posting every day on Instagram because that's going to help me, gather people into my circle of influence, whatever, and then the next month I'm going to do something else. And then the next month I'm going to do something else. And eventually all of this is going to add up to getting publicity, and somebody's going to notice me, and then I get to be on TV. I don't know, whatever your goal is. Just breaking it down into those steps, figuring out what those are. Or maybe you want to go to school. Maybe you want to get a degree in something. Oh, I would love to be a veterinarian, or I would love to learn how to fix a car. Whatever it is, you can do it. You just need to break it down into actionable steps that you can manage one step at a time. When you look at that whole big picture, it's too overwhelming. But when you can break it down into the little steps, you can take the little steps forward.
Really like that. And so let's talk about coaching, because that is what you've just described. There is very coaching, isn't it? It's getting people to think from a new perspective. And ultimately, you're completely right. The majority of things that we put our own blockers out there. We say we can't do that. We are our own worst enemy. We are the person that's putting up the walls and thinking we can't do that. And that comes from self-sabotage, imposter syndrome. There's so many things, and obviously just natural things where we think, oh no, I've never done that before, which means I'm never going to be able to do it.
Right.
So there's a multitude of different things, but let's talk about coaching, because you help people see their potential as well.
Yeah, I do. I don't have necessarily the type of coaching program that most people think about. I give out free advice because I like to help people, but most of my coaching goes into my books. My business is based on something called passive income. I don't want to do things that are tied to my time. And so I can write a book and I can share all kinds of information, and that's out there for everybody. And I can move on to the next thing, which, the next book or the next whatever. But yes, I have a Facebook group, and I love to help women, particularly women, just kind of really take that next step, get that understanding of how are they getting in their own way? What are they thinking they can't do or shouldn't do, that they can just get rid of that? No, don't even think about that. Just do what feels right to you. Or those things that they should be doing that they're uncomfortable doing. And then you get into that whole guilt of, oh, I should be doing Facebook Lives, but I don't want to do Facebook Lives, but I should be, right? And then you just spiral out of control. And yeah, that's bad too. So yeah, I really love helping people, giving them advice, sharing my 10 plus years of online business. I've had a number of different web businesses over the years, and just sharing that experience, because I see, especially in the last year with COVID, a lot of people who lost their jobs thought, okay, I'll jump online and create a business and make some income because I can't go get another job right now. And I saw so many people try it, come face to face with the reality, and just give up because they didn't understand the kind of the inner workings, the details, the how do you make it work? Well, you're not going to make it work in 90 days. But in a year, yes, you can. You can get there. You can create financial freedom or another revenue stream. Because that's the other thing I think it just kills me when I see this in people, is they give up and they go back to their 9-to-5 job, which is not bad. But after having lost more than one job, I'm like, you just can't depend on just one thing anymore. Have a side gig. Everybody has a passion around something. You can create some sort of revenue stream if you work at it long enough that brings you in a little extra income. So when I first started writing, all I wanted was enough money to pay for my kids' birthday parties and soccer games and all those extra things that go into parenting that we couldn't quite afford, all the fun stuff. That's all I wanted. And that's what I got from my freelance writing, from the different books and things that I did. You can take that, make it full-time, or keep it part-time. It's all pretty much the same process. It's just how much work you put into it.
I really do agree with the whole side gig thing. I think many people kind of get caught up in the whole working 9-to-5 for, like, because this is my main source of income. And, we tend to find ourselves being locked into jobs that we don't necessarily care about. It's just the fact that it's the money, that's the one that brings in. I mean, this is why I've got the amount of things that I've got. Like, I don't stop. The people who are watching now, who've been in the comments, they go to one of my dance classes that I teach twice a week. I've got that, and that's been a brand for the last. It started off like that as a particular brand started off in like 8 years ago, but it stopped and then started and stopped and started, and I couldn't figure out the right formula for it. And it's only the last 3 years, this is the third year that I did my relaunch, that it's worked. And I put in the time and the effort to get it right. And it's now my second source of income. It's now my second thing. I've also now obviously got this. I've got my podcasting, which obviously pulls in stuff from adverts and from merchandise and all of that line. You're right. You have to work at, you can't, things aren't just easy. You can't just go, right, well, this is what I want, and I'm going to start it, and then next week I'm going to be like this. It's going to be big, and all of it. You've got to put in that time. As I said, so my dance class is called Dance X. With Dance X, that has been a brand. I registered that as an actual company 8 years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago. I registered it, and it just never went anywhere, and I had to cancel it, and I stopped it, and then started it, and then stopped it, and then started it. And now I've not had to. We've not had a break. We went all the way through lockdowns. We were doing classes online. Like, you have to put in the work, and I put in the work. I put in the time. I put in the effort. I put in my money. I put in absolutely everything to make sure it works. And I made sure as well that I don't just give up, because you can't. When it comes to your passions, you've got to work at it, because it's worth it in the end. I look back on all the stuff that I've done, and I think I'm really glad that I took a chance and I tried it. I was talking about this on the radio actually earlier. I went down to the radio studios because I'm obviously talking about my my radio show, and we were literally talking about this, like the fact that you can't just stop. You've got to push.
Got to keep going. Got to keep going. Well, and that's the thing. Even if it doesn't work out, that's still a data point. That tells you what didn't work. Okay, well, let's tweak it a little bit, because sometimes it's as simple as changing a few words in how you phrase something, and all of a sudden it hits. Or, changing your focus just a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do a video podcast. I'm going to do just an audio podcast. And for whatever reason, that resonates with people more. Whatever, you just got to keep going until you find that thing that feels authentic to you and resonates with the people you want to work with. Because that's the other thing I talk about a lot in my book, is you have to stay true to who you are. You can't try and pretend to be something you're not and expect it to work, because people pick up on that, and they're not going to trust you, and they're not going to buy from you. And that is the ultimate goal of a business, is to sell whatever you're selling to people. And especially if it's some sort of personal brand, coaching, whatever, if you're trying to be something you're not, that's just not going to work.
Exactly. Let's talk about your book.
Oh yes.
Because you're here as well, and we needed to talk about this book. It's there. It's been released. Yep. I was really excited when you started talking about it back in April when we had our pre-show chat, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about it." And you were like, "Well, just before, like when I come on the show, it would have just been released."
Perfect timing.
Exactly. So off you go. Tell me everything about this book. How is it being? What's it about? What's the reception been on it? Everything.
Well, let's start with the title. It's called Success Guaranteed: 9 Lies Online Entrepreneurs Need to Know. So I'll be honest, when I started writing this book, I was a little irritated. I was kind of angry, actually, because I had seen so many people, like I said earlier, just give up. One of the things, if you've ever even thought about being an online entrepreneur, and you go and you Google something, or you're in a Facebook group and you say something, you know what happens. You are suddenly just bombarded with all these people who, I'll make your website for you, I'll do your logo for you, I'll do all this, I'll do that, right? You just sudden massive input, right? But it's not the right stuff. It's not what you really need to know. And so much of the marketing that targets new entrepreneurs makes it sound like it's going to be fast. It's going to be easy. You're going to make lots of money. You can figure this out yourself. All these, there were 9 lies, and I didn't come up with them myself. I came up with the first 3, but I actually went out to social media to new entrepreneurs and said, hey, what are you hearing? What is driving you nuts that people are telling you that you're finding just is not true? And so I narrowed it down, because I got more than 9, but I narrowed it down to the 9 top lies or myths that you run into when you're trying to build an online business. And I broke them down and said, this is why it's not true. So just for example, the number 1 myth is that it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But I've been online long enough that I actually know where that came from. Way back in the day, when dinosaurs were, anyway, when the internet was new, the big thing about building a business online, everybody was saying it's so much easier online than a brick and mortar business, which is true. It takes 3 to 5 years to get a brick and mortar business up and running and profitable. An online business, you can do it in a year. That's faster. That's not fast. Somehow it's morphed into that, well, in 30 days, you're going to be doing this. And in 90 days, you're going to be sitting on a beach, sipping adult beverages, just letting the money roll in. And that's not how it works. So what I did is I went out and I interviewed 20 plus entrepreneurs. So these are people that are doing it. everywhere from I've been in business for 35 plus years to there are people that have brick and mortar businesses and online businesses, products, services, all the way down to I've been in business for only a year or two. So across the whole spectrum, single moms, people taking care of older kids, people with health issues, whatever. I wanted to make sure there was something in the book that everyone would resonate, that no matter who you are, you would find someone that sounds like you, that is doing it, that you can say, oh, they're doing it. I can figure this out. I can do this too. But in addition to breaking down the myths of what's the reality, I also give a lot of how-to information because there are certain themes that came out from talking to all these people. And some of the things were things like you need to create a support system. And we're not talking about just your family. Entrepreneurs, people who understand what you're going through, you need to have a support system. Finding a coach. Well, how do you find a coach? Who do you know is the right coach for you? So, step-by-step stuff of processes that you can go through that you can take away and immediately implement in your business, in your life to help you move forward. And then, of course, I included contact information for all of the people that helped me, all of the people that I interviewed, because there are quotes from them directly in the book. But then at the end, there's contact information. So, several of them are coaches doing different things. So if you find someone that resonates and you want to reach out to them, there is that as well. And one of them actually came up with a great suggestion for the book was to include additional resources. Because again, if you're a new entrepreneur, you don't necessarily know who to listen to. So there's a list of books that were suggested by them, a list of people that were suggested by them, to just kind of get you started, get your toes wet, get a little peek into it and figure out what the reality is. Because I do believe that the internet is the single best way to make money. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a business background. You don't even need a computer. All you need is a smartphone. I've seen people do it with just a smartphone, and a passion and the tenacity to stick with it. If you have those things, you can create a second income if you have a corporate job you love and you don't really want to leave, but you want that extra security. Or a full-time gig. Maybe you are not enjoying your corporate job and you want to jump into your passion. Or for me, writing has always been my retirement career. I was going to keep at it and just, have fun with it because I do love writing, but I wasn't going to worry about making money until I retired and then, have something to do. Retirement maybe came a little early. Thank you, COVID. Anyway, so I really am so passionate about this. It just drives me nuts to see people starting and trying and just getting overwhelmed and buried by the whole industry of online business. When I know that they are capable of doing it, they just need someone to show them how, to show them that they can do it, they are capable, and here's a roadmap to find the right way to do it for you. Because there is no one right way. There's lots of wrong ways. I know, I've tried a lot of them. But they were wrong for me. They might be right for you. Everybody's different. Every business is different. So that's what my book is. It is available on Amazon as both an ebook and as a paperback. Couple more months, it will probably be available in other places as well. But if you are not familiar, Amazon likes for you to just put it through Amazon for the first 3 months. They're kind of picky that way. But anyway, eventually it will be available other places. If you cannot find it there, or if for whatever reason you can't get it, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to send you a free PDF. It's not as pretty, but I just really want to get this information out there to the people that really, really need it.
That's brilliant. And I'm sure what we'll do is we'll post some links after the show as well. Awesome. So people can get direct links as well to the Amazon site so they can buy it.
Yes.
And all of that as well. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like the opportunity to discuss now?
I don't think so. I think we've pretty much covered everything. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity. I will talk about this stuff for hours at a time if you let me. So I probably would better stop there.
Where can people find you, though, if they wanted to have more information about the work that you do, maybe running in general, maybe even like for more information on your book, the coaching aspect of it as well? Where can people find you?
The best place to find me is on Facebook. I spend way too much time on Facebook. I have a group called Women Coaches and Consultants Growing Our Business that you can join, or you can just reach out to me directly on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, Dawn.Marcotte, just my name. And I do have a website that is DM-consultingllc.com. that has lots of free information as well as a paid membership part. So you can get lots of the information that I share in that paid part. There's classes and videos and all kinds of things in that particular section of the website. So that's where you can find me.
Brilliant. And again, we'll post those links after the show as well, and we'll put them into the show notes for the podcast as well. Awesome. So make sure that you do check them out. Right. Can I have your final thoughts? What should people take away from today's episode?
I think the most important thing is to understand that you are capable of doing far more than you ever thought you could. If you break it down into steps and take it one step at a time, you can accomplish amazing things.
Brilliant. I love it. And that will take us nicely. It's a nice little segue into your quote. Now, at the end of every episode, I give my guests the opportunity to give a quote. It's a little motivational and inspirational quote. We are hoping to inspire people here at Spill It. So I am wondering if you have got a quote for my viewers and listeners today.
I do. It's one of my favorite quotes. I don't remember who said it, and I apologize for that. But the quote is that the elevator to success is out of order. You need to take the stairs one step at a time.
I love that. And what does that quote mean to you? Why is it important?
It just reinforces the fact that there are no shortcuts to success. You have to take the steps to build what's going to work for you. Because if you try and take those leaps forward, it's just not going to be sustainable.
I absolutely love that quote. And to be fair, you're right. Like there is no shortcut to success. You've got to put in the time. You've got to put in, and you've got to make mistakes. That's the biggest thing as well. You know, trip up the stairs every now and again. you're going to learn from those mistakes. Like you'll know what works, what doesn't work. And the only way that you're going to have success is if you do fail. Yeah. Like you've got to have those little moments where you think that didn't quite work as well as I expected, because then you can change it. Nothing works straight away. Yeah. Not one person created something and went, that is perfect, and I'm happy with that on first draft. Like that doesn't work. You have to put in the work, and you have to mess up. You have to fail. You have to trip up, because that is where you learn. That's when the learning experience happens. It's better to fail 10 times or 100 times than to not fail at all.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that.
Agreed. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. As I said, I was really looking forward to getting into this with you, and you did not fail to keep a smile on my face. I love your energy. You've got good juju. I love it.
Thank you.
But yeah, you are free to say your goodbyes.
Well, thank you very much, Marcus. Thanks, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed it as well.
Thank you, and I'm sure it's not the last we've seen of you. You're welcome back anytime.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. There you go. What an amazing episode, and I'm sure that you'll agree that Dawn is such a good person to have on the show as well. Just her insight, especially to business side of things, I think is absolutely phenomenal. So yes, thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on the show, sharing your truth with us here at Spill It, with me and my viewers, my listeners at home. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Right. Well, next week we have... to be fair, this is a really good episode, especially for you women out there, because we have got Julie Polston coming on the show for the episode Rise of the Phoenix. Julie is a coach, a women's specific coach who coaches women in a rebirth. So if you may have been going through a little bit of a hard time, Julie is a coach that will help you forget about the current situation and be reborn into the flame woman that you are. She is absolutely epic, and I cannot wait to have her on the show. She will be here talking about it all, talking about her coaching, and also what it can do for you, why it's important to remember who you were, because it'll make you a stronger person in the future. My name is Marcus Wright, and to get more information on Spill It, to see upcoming episodes and more, you can head over to the Spill It website at www.spillit.uk. There, you'll be able to find out all of the upcoming episodes. You'll be able to connect with all of my guests. And also, you'll be able to find links to the previous episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and also listen to the audio podcasts over on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. When I don't do this, I also run a radio show. It's called A Little Bit of Marcus, and you can tune into that every single Saturday at 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. So you get an hour of Marcus. So that's why it's called A Little Bit of Marcus. And all you have to do is tune into Beat 103 Radio. I love it. I can't wait to get back there on Saturday. So make sure that you tune in this week on Saturday at Beat 103 More Music Radio. And also to support me and the work that I do, you can head over to the Spill It website. You can buy merch. You can join the Patreon, the official Patreon, where you get bonus episodes and you also get discounts off merch and more. You can also invite people to the Spill It community here on Facebook, or you can also leave a review if you're listening to this via Facebook or you're listening to this via Apple Podcasts. Then you can leave me a review. Leave me a cheeky review if you did enjoy the episode. If you didn't enjoy the episode, don't leave a review. It's as simple as that. I can't make it more simple than that, really. But yes, you can buy merch. There is a new line of merch launching as well. I'm now actually wearing one of the hoodies. It says A Little Bit of Merch. Look at this beautiful little thing. I'll post photos of this on the website as well. But yeah, you can get these brand new hoodies, A Little Bit of Merch. Now I've got it so it's like massive here, like on the chest. You don't need it as big as that. You can actually get smaller ones, or you can have it just on the back. It's up to you. Or I can put it on joggers. We now do caps as well and woolly hats. We do absolutely loads of A Little Bit of Merch. So if you're wanting one of those, make sure you get in touch, because it's going to be taking over. There's going to be so much more A Little Bit of in the future, and I can't wait. There's so many plans. Guys, honestly, I've kept this a secret for so long. There is so much happening with A Little Bit of that I haven't told you. Honestly, it's taken so much to not tell people. But A Little Bit of is bigger than what you think. Okay, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to have you up here in the Spill It community. But for now, England are going to be kicking off in 2 minutes' time. So make sure that you go and support England. Obviously, if you're watching in England, if you're not watching in England, you can support us. You know, we won't say no. But obviously, if you're watching in England or you're listening in England, then make sure that you go and support us and watch the match, because it is the semi-finals. It's us versus Denmark. Football's coming home, guys. And until we spill it again, it's bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Spill It. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Spill It goes live every week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And a special thank you to these amazing teacups.